Hi, good morning. It's Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025, and this is Wacka Doodle Wednesdays, where I get to say what's on my mind without fear of, there's fear of retaliation because, you never know who you're going to piss off. But still, I'm here. I'm Elle Cameron. This is my YouTube channel. Everything that's on this YouTube channel is my self-expression and my opportunity to utilize my constitutional right to freedom of speech in this week's Wacka Doodle Wednesday. So thanks for watching. Hey, in this week's Wacka Doodle Wednesday, we dive into the contradictions at the heart of U.S. power. Pete Hegseth defends a second strike on a Venezuela boat. Donald Trump pardons a Honduran ex-president convicted of massive drug crimes, and Senator Mark Kelly calls out unlawful orders and a Pentagon probe. Excuse me while I take a drink of hot water. This episode exposes hypocrisy of pardoning one leader while attacking another and asks what happens when selective mercy and targeted violence cross the line into acts against humanity. Join me as we unpack the consequences for justice, dignity, and global accountability. Let's talk about hypocrisy dressed up as policy. On one hand, we have Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defending a second U.S. strike on a Venezuelan boat, a strike that killed survivors of the first blast. Justified under the so-called fog of war, lawmakers are already probing whether this double tap amounts to a war crime. On the other hand, we have Donald Trump pardoning former Honduran President John Orlando Hernandez, a man convicted of conspiring to import over 400 tons of cocaine into the United States. That's not just a contradiction, it's a moral collapse. Trump's pardon freed Hernandez from a 45-year sentence handed down in New York federal court. Prosecutors described him as the centerpiece of one of the largest and most violent drug trafficking conspiracies in the world. Yet Trump called the trial a witch hunt and claimed Hernandez was treated very harshly and unfairly. That's CBS News. Meanwhile, Venezuelan fishermen and alleged smugglers are being blown out of the water and survivors killed in follow-up strikes. The message is clear. If you're a political ally, you get mercy. If you're a poor sailor in the Caribbean, you get missiles. The hypocrisy is not just about optics. It has real consequences for human rights and international law. Targeting survivors of an initial strike violates the Geneva Convention's protections against summary execution. Pardoning a convicted narco president undermines the credibility of U.S. drug enforcement. Together, these actions send a chilling signal. Justice is selective, violence is normalized, and accountability, it's optional. Enter Senator Mark Kelly, who has blasted Trump and Hegseth amid a Pentagon probe that threatens to recall him to active duty for court-martial. Kelly's crime? Reminding service members that they are obligated to refuse unlawful orders. Obligated to refuse unlawful orders. Trump branded this seditious behavior and even promoted calls for executions. Think about that. A decorated veteran urging troops to uphold the Constitution is investigated, while a president pardons a drug kingpin and a defense secretary strikes that may constitute war crimes. Pardon me, please. Or don't. I don't want a Trump pardon. No, thank you. Check my smile. Did you see that? All right. For consequences. The consequences ripple outward. Let me just remind you, uh, the Constitution is investigated. A president pardons a drunk kingpin, and a defense secretary strikes, defends strikes that may constitute war crimes. The consequences ripple outward. For Venezuela, these strikes deepen hostility and risk escalation into open conflict. For Honduras, the pardon emboldens corrupt elites and undermines democratic accountability. For the United States, it erodes moral authority, making it harder to claim leadership on human rights abroad. And for ordinary people, the families of those killed at sea, the communities devastated by cocaine trafficking, the message is devastating. Their lives are expendable in the theater of political gamemanship. So here's the Wacka Doodle takeaway. Trump pardons a man who smuggled hundreds of tons of cocaine while authorizing strikes that kill alleged smugglers at sea. Pete Hegseth calls it lethality. Trump calls it the miracle. Mark Kelly calls it what it is: unlawful orders, intimidation, and constitutional betrayal. And history will call it something else: acts against humanity. Because when leaders weaponize mercy for allies and missiles for enemies, they don't just bend the law, they break the very idea of justice. And that, my friends, is the real damage report. So, as I move forward with the hot water, what is that, my lemon? No, I mean my honey. Okay. I think I got a piece of honey. Okie dokie. Dumpster fire of the week. And again, like, there's nothing humorous about any of this. And I know that by me speaking out, there can be consequences. Welcome to the dumpster fire of the week, where absurdity burns brighter than reason. Trump just dropped over 160 posts in one night on Truth Social, a digital bonfire of conspiracy theories, self-praise, and random movie cameos. Imagine a president treating governance like speed posting memes at 3 a.m. The absurdity isn't just the volume, it's the content. Defending war crimes while pardoning a convicted narco president. That's not stamina, folks. That's spam with consequences. And when the nation's leader floods the feed with delusion, democracy itself starts to smell like smoke. The tweet translator? Now for the tweet translator, or should I say Truth Social decoder. Trump posted, "Truth Social is the best. There is nothing else even close." Translation: I measure legitimacy by likes, not laws. It's insecurity dressed up as patriotism. He's not talking about America. He's talking about his app. And when the platform loyalty becomes the new pledge of allegiance, you know the republic has been replaced by engagement metrics. Welcome to governance by algorithm. And the Rashomon recap? The Rashomon recap. One event, 4 spins. Trump and allies. Proof of devotion and stamina. Critics, a psychotic episode in real time. Media, contradictions galore, pardoning a Honduran drug lord while bombing Venezuelan boats. Military voices, unlawful orders dressed up as patriotism. Same night, same posts, 4 realities. The Rashomon politics, truth fractured, spun and weaponized until the public can't tell the difference between loyalty and lunacy. And the democracy damage report? Democracy damage report time. Institutions bent like lawn chairs this week once again. Norms trampled again. Presidential communication reduced to spam blasts again. Rule of law eroded again. A convicted narco president walks free while poor sailors are killed at sea. Military integrity attacked. Decorated veterans investigated for reminding troops to refuse unlawful orders. This isn't just chaos, it's corrosion. Every post, every pardon, every strike strips away at the idea that justice applies equally. And when justice becomes selective, democracy becomes disposable. And finally, the satirical soundbite. Breaking news. Trump announces a new cabinet position, Secretary of Posting. Duties include typing faster than democracy collapses, reposting conspiracy memes, and defending pardons with hashtags. Applicants must prove they can post 160 times in one night without blinking. Salary paid in likes. Loyalty and delusion. America, meet your new minister, the Department of Spam. Thank you. This was fun. It's snowing here. Alexa, let me do an affirmator.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I know. She tries, though. She's really helpful. Like anyone who can just even try to be helpful is doing what they can to be helpful. The news that on the same day that Senator Mark Kelly is defending himself and Secretary of Hegseth, Secretary of Defense Hegseth, is, I'm just going to pull a card, is also defending strikes against boats in the Caribbean. And Trump is like, I don't know what he's doing, taking a nap. That'll happen in one day. Like he pardoned someone for drug crimes, at the same time justifying bombing a drug ship. At the same time, Hegseth has to defend the obvious, which is that you have a right as a military person to refuse illegal orders and crimes against humanity. I got this again. This is like the third time. I don't know what the universe is trying to tell me here. Ideal partnership. I am a rare and precious find. That's what the universe is trying to tell me. I am a rare and precious find, and my brilliance will be reflected back to me when I am paired with my true match. My ideal partnerships and working relationships are easy and free-flowing. I deserve greatness because I am greatness. And to paraphrase Rumi, what I am looking for is also looking for me. In fact, they might be paraphrasing Rumi right now. That's my Wednesday Wacka Doodle. Alexa, will you play me some music? I have a weird thing on my hairpiece. Alexa, will you play me some music? She gets touchy if I interrupt her. Alexa, will you play me some music?
Here's a mix for you on Amazon Music.
I took a page out of you.